what we can see in these Nkele videos is these people have such a strength, such a resilience that is like, what we're trying to say is the gift that they're giving us is way bigger than the gift that we can give them.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. It's Thursday. We got a new episode of the Iris Global Green Room. First of all, before I jump on in, I just want to take a minute and say thank you. If this is your first time listening, there's a bunch that we have done before. I think over 100, right around 100, a little over 100 episodes. Go back, take a look. There's some really incredible content. This is a project of passion and fun. And I know that as you guys look through, you'll be blessed. So check them out. We had some great interviews, and I'm looking forward to another one here today with Isaac. Isaac, how are you, man?
Right.
Good to see you.
Good to be here.
Isaac Meyer? I always want to say Meyer. God, I got it wrong. I flipped it.
You're good.
Meyer. Mm-hmm. I met you years ago. I don't know if you remember this.
Vaguely.
I'm going to say no.
Okay, probably not.
I met you with your mom, who is a friend, somebody that I used to do a lot more with. Our paths rarely cross now, but some of my most fond memories in ministry are with your mom, Julie Meyer, and I always called her Julie Meyer. So I'm sorry, I'm playing through all the times that I butchered her name. An incredible prophetic singer, songwriter, worship leader. When I was coming up into my faith, it was people like your mother, who I used to just soak in the presence of God. Some of the greatest moments I've had in ministry with your mom, but that's not why we're here today. But I want to give people a little reference point. You are a lifelong lover of God, a lifelong, and I know there's probably story in there that you feel free to share, but you grew up around the move of God. You've seen a lot of the good, the bad, the ugly, especially as a ministry kid. And you've come through it all shining and serving and sowing, which is what brings us here today. For those of you who are watching this or listening to it, if you have been paying attention to our YouTube channel, you would have seen the Nkele worship video. And at the time that we're putting this out, there's actually 5 videos in total that have been released. And you are one of the, and leading the spear on the production of these videos, the recording of these videos. And it's such an honor to have you on. This was a project that I know you've been working on for a long time, but there's so much going on in Iris.
Yeah.
I was made aware of this more recently, and there's a lot of people that come on and do a lot of stuff for Iris.
Sure.
Very rarely does have the impact of what the Nkele video has had. Yeah. And so before we go anywhere else, I just want to stop and say thank you, man. Thank you for sowing into the poor. Thank you for drawing attention onto what's going on in Mozambique. Thank you for serving Iris. And dude, you're incredibly gifted, and you saw something in the worship that I think as missionaries, even some of the people behind this camera have lived in and seen, but very few actually highlighted. Yeah. Right? And the way that you did that is stunning. I've been playing it almost at every event I've gone to. I played it here at church. And the room just broke down crying. Yeah. I played it at a conference last weekend, and the room broke down crying. It is so powerful. So, dude, thank you for coming on. Thank you for the life that you live. Thank you for being the son of an incredible worship leader. And, dude, how are you? Welcome to the Green Room.
Thank you. Good to be here. Yeah. It's incredible, the journey from growing up with my mother, who's a worship leader, and went to Bible college and was a former pastor. And I have I could write many books on the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I think first off, I mean, again, it's an honor to have been put into the position where I was to walk in that church in Miesi. That was absolutely life changing. And we'll get there. And I'm sure when this podcast comes out, there'll be multiple videos kind of showing the bigger story, because this isn't just an album, right? These songs are not just normal songs. And what we have the ability to do with these songs is pretty incredible. And I think we really have an opportunity to kind of reshift the lens on how I've seen a lot of humanitarian work done. And in the past, I feel like when I see a video of someone in maybe a third world country, it's like, oh, I need to feel sorry and give them money.
Right.
And that's a good need, right? Like we see need and we respond. But if we stop there, we miss so much of what we can see in these Nkele videos. Is these people have such a strength, such a resilience, that is like, what we're trying to say is the gift that they're giving us is way bigger than the gift that we can give them. And it's interesting. I think for me, the journey of the nonprofit and getting me to that church, it's a long one. It's a fairly painful one.
Can we talk about that? How did you end up in Mozambique?
Yeah, that's a great question. A few things. One of my best friends is Brock, who's Heidi Baker's son-in-law. So Kristen and Brock have been some of my best friends.
I need to honor Heidi. She calls him her son-in-love.
Son-in-law,
and that's
yes.
Brock Human.
Yes.
And I'm sure you know the accolades of the worship that he's written in over the years. An amazing worship.
And this is, I don't want to give too much away, but even me and Brock being in Mozambique was such a full circle moment. That's where actually United Pursuit met, was in Mozambique.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you know this, but not a lot of people do. And, the short version is, it's been, the music industry is just difficult right now, very difficult. And I think one of the most amazing aspects about this is these songs, it's almost like it's a return to what music should always be. And I think like right now we think what's happening right now is normal with the music industry. But we don't understand, we are living in this like machine that takes what should be this beautiful song and story, and it's turning it into a product to be sold and monetized. But this is the exception. For the last 10,000 years, that this is nothing what it should be like. Before we had like written language, we had music.
Yeah.
I love music. I love doing a deep dive in music history and in culture. And so when you go to a village like Miesi, it literally is like stepping into a time machine, because they're disconnected from this machine that's currently happening. And, like one of the things I was thinking, it's like, music should, and it's an art, should just simply be expressions of our souls, right? Like it shouldn't be meant to be monetized and sold, and that's not necessarily all bad. Like, it is what it is right now, and there's amazing means for media, these conversations and podcasts, so I'm not throwing everything under the bus. But what I'm saying is I don't think people understand what we're living in right now is the exception, it's not the normal.
Right.
So when you go and you see a community, and why these songs, for multiple reasons, hit so hard, is because like they're detached from this modern machine. And it's like, if music should simply be an expression of our souls, why are we letting it run by machines that don't have one?
Yeah. First of all, I don't know if you've seen any of the other ones on any of these other podcasts we've done here.
Yeah.
I've had this conversation with a lot of incredible worship leaders. They're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
The tension is there.
Yeah.
There's a recognition. I've been watching even very well-known worship leaders start to repent, right, for entering in, and that's their conscience, right?
Sure.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. However, I would say that there is a clear message of something has to change. Something went overboard, right? I think maybe what started out with pure intentions, because, well, growing up around the music, my mom was an artist, like a painter. My father is an artist as well. It never paid the bills. And I think for a long time, or maybe one of the ways that we got to where we're at is there was an acknowledgement that this incredibly important ministry was not actually making any money. They were spending their lives, pouring their life out, right? And there was no compensation for that. I think a worker's worth their wages.
Right.
However, it gets very dangerous when you start to monetize praise, when you start to monetize worship. So I don't want to cast a wide pathway of like, it's evil. I think that there were people that need to get paid. Right.
Oh, absolutely. I think this.
But then corporations take hold of it.
Yeah. And to me, I think this is an opportunity to just take a step back.
Yeah.
It's not go, this is all horrible.
Right.
Like there's some amazing things that are happening with it, but it is the opportunity to go, can we just like slow down and take a step back and go, the last 40 years is not the normal. Right. And I think when we have the ability to go to places like Miesi, you don't even have to, you can just hear it and all of a sudden you're hit with something, right? And so I think just simply that when you hear these songs, these, like they're not writing these songs in Nkele. They didn't write this to get on a top 100 chart.
Yeah.
And so there's everything about the CD, the project is wrong on how you would typically think to bring songs together.
Yeah.
But because these songs are written purely out of survival, right? Like these, if you look at the church, their whole village was destroyed by the cyclone. It's like I tell people like, and it's already the third most poor country in the world, right? So it's like nothing was destroyed by a cyclone. There's real persecution happening.
Legit persecution.
Heidi told me somebody was just shot for having a Bible in their pocket.
That is a pleasant death compared to a lot of the ways that people are being killed right now.
Yes.
So that is incredibly common right now.
Yes, exactly. And yet these people come together. And here's the craziest thing that I think, and I got to get back to how I got to Mozambique, but when I look at these videos, I feel like, especially for me, growing up in the church and being a worship leader, pastor, and I've been to I don't know how many thousands of conferences my whole life, and I think about, we talk about how faith is something that we can't see, right? Like we believe in God, but we can't really see it, right? Well, when you look at these videos, you visibly see that there is nothing. Like they're in a destroyed church, right? They have rebuilt with tarps, as we hear about the persecution. Like they literally have nothing. But yet when you see and you hear these voices, you can clearly see that they have something.
Oh, yeah.
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 And it's like, no, so you can actually see in these videos that faith is real. Now, I know we believe it, but I'm talking about like a visible representation of someone who doesn't believe whatsoever. You can't watch these videos and not go, they have something. Yeah. What is that?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the presence of Jesus.
Yeah. It's hope in the midst of suffering.
Yes.
Right? It's joy in the midst of everything in the natural that people say you shouldn't have joy.
Mm-hmm. And I think we're so, for me, and to getting back, because I think that is the most beautiful gift that we can receive. I feel like in the West, and we seem to have, on paper, everything, right? And some people are more fortunate, and people are struggling. But yet I feel like we also feel so disconnected. And for me, back to your question of how I got to Mozambique, it started, so we adopted my son. His name's Shia, and his name means gift, and he's just the most incredible kid. He's 8.5. We adopted him from birth, and we knew that his birth mother was on drugs, and so, but we adopted him. First few years are kind of normal, and right around, it was right when COVID hit, actually, 2020. So from 2020 to 2022, our lives kind of shut down with getting him help, mental health issues, and just it was about as difficult as you could imagine being a parent, working through big issues. And we did everything we could, getting him help from, obviously prayer, but just everything. And we are finally getting him to a place where he's able to go back to school. And, I remember we were sitting in our marriage therapist's office, and, the divorce rate for special needs kids is like over 80%. Yeah. And he was like telling us that, like, he was like, you guys don't understand what you've gone through, like, right. And he was encouraging us, and it's like, we were there, we were fighting, and And that conversation happened a week before Shai was then diagnosed with cancer, which started a journey. I remember getting the call. 8 in the morning, doctor called me and said, you need to go pick up your son from the hospital. We think he has cancer. There's a team of doctors waiting for you at the Santa Barbara hospital. Pick him up immediately, take him to the hospital. So I knew in that moment, just again, and this is after 2 years of already laying everything down, and drove him to the hospital, which started a 2-year journey of living in the hospital. Most nights sleeping on the floor next to him, and in the midst of all of the previous compounded trauma and difficulties and everything that we've been through. And I remember there was this. It was like I was in a movie. Every 5 minutes, a doctor was handing me a new binder and 2-year projections and percentages and all this stuff. And it was just like, how is this happening?
Can I ask how old was he in the diagnosis, and what type of cancer?
So he would have been around 6. So we officially got the diagnosis February of 2023.
Okay.
That's the whole thing. Because essentially he had cancer for 6 months, but
yeah,
the doctors weren't believing us. It was this whole thing. And so, but it was leukemia.
Yeah.
And there's different strains and, but yeah.
We just walked through it with some
but
dear,
he
dear
essentially
friends
was like, I think 98% of his blood was leukemia. Like it was like the end of the stages. And that's a whole other conversation. But I remember, for me, it's like talking about pain. It's funny because, my name is Isaac, which means child of laughter. Like I love joy. I love to spread joy. And, I think growing up a lot of my life, I felt like pain was something that got in the way of joy.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, how quickly can I get through this so I can get back to being joyful? And I think a lot of us, I know a lot of us, of our society, we don't say it point blank, but we're not taught how to deal with pain and to sorrow, and we want to be around someone who's happy, and that's fun, right? But when someone's in pain, like that's uncomfortable. And so for me, that whole season of being in the hospital was about God showing me the importance of pain, and that pain isn't something that gets in the way of joy, but pain, if you can allow it, it's like pain is like where is the soil that true joy can grow from. And I felt like, I remember there's one night specifically, and it was probably like 1 a.m, and I was, my son had this allergic reaction. He's connected to all these machines, and I'm covered in chemo piss, which is an actual thing because your body is so infused with chemotherapy. All you're doing is, my bed, this makeshift couch is covered in throw up and all this stuff.
Do you know that my wife went through 2 bouts of cancer?
I think somebody just told me that.
Yeah, so Hodgkin's
3 days
lymphoma,
ago.
and then she relapsed for 8 years later. So like I know a lot. I haven't experienced it with a child.
Sure.
But I'm with you. Like I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
Like I know the feelings, I know the smells, I know the sensations, I know the hospital nights. It's hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
yeah. So this is maybe like the second weekend, and so this the second weekend. I mean, it's just like I think I still have the same clothes on that I maybe went to the hospital with, and it's maybe about 1 a.m. He has this allergic reaction. He's screaming. All these doctors rush in, and it takes about 20 minutes. They stabilize him, and they leave the room. Shia finally falls asleep, and I'm just there. I'm laying on the ground. I can't be in my bed because it's again just covered in all types of stuff, and I'm just like, it's one of those moments where I was just like on the ground, and it was like I just had the thought, it was like I have to find the purpose for this pain. Like there's got to be a reason. Like I don't know what it is, but like this is too great. Like if I don't find the purpose, it's just gonna consume me.
right.
And it was one of those things where it wasn't like a prayer, but obviously I'm fully open, and it's crazy. It's like I felt the presence of God, and I felt comforted, but He didn't take the pain away. And it was in that moment that I realized that this is a season that's gonna it's a 2-year trajectory.
Yep.
We still don't know what's gonna happen with Shia, with so many things. I can't rush this. I can't pray it away. I have to be fully present and go, what are you here to teach me? And that started just a slow journey. And at first, the first few weeks, it was hard to, I'm in a chemo ward with all these kids with chemo, and they're losing their hair and they're connected to these machines. And I couldn't look at it because it's how do you look at that?
Much.
You can't. But slowly I began to see, and slowly as I began to sit, you're forced to sit there to be. And it's like I slowly began to see the beauty in all of this pain. And it doesn't make sense, but it's like you slowly begin to see I describe it, it's like you see God's like love through the cracks of a broken world. And it's like, you see things that you missed the first time a kid smiles for the first time in a month. You see a grandmother over her grandkids' bed and praying, asking God to take what she can't hold and praying for him. And you see these kids starting to walk. And I would do little things like I would get my guitar and I would play with Shia, and it might just be for a minute he would start smiling.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of the thought of this foundation. It didn't start with me when I go to Africa. It started with going. I love music. I grew up, and music is fully as much part of me as scripture, and so for me, I was like, what if I just like wrote a song with kids in the hospital? So I'd go next door to the kids in the hospital and I just write a funny song. And so the thought with this foundation, as I beginning to, again, that whole season, the year, it was slow. It was the most painful year of my life. But slowly I just, in that place, just was present with all of the emotions. I wasn't trying to suppress it. I was just there.
Yeah.
And I remember I'd go next door to these kids and write songs. And then about a year later, I'm like, man, what if I'm around all these foundations, the teddy bear foundations,
right.
So I'm like around these foundations. I'm like, okay, like what if I do a foundation? And the thought was simply to go and write songs with kids in the hospitals. And kind of going like, there are stories, even in the midst of pain. One of the lines that came to me was, even in our deepest pain, beauty still breathes and music gives it a voice. And so that doesn't matter if that's in a hospital. That doesn't matter if that's in somewhere in America, or if that doesn't matter if that's in a destroyed church in Mozambique. And so I remember I called Brock and I was like, hey, I think I want to do this foundation, writing music with kids. He's like, oh, that's cool. And I've always wanted to come to Mozambique, but it's been so dangerous. Brock hasn't been able to come for like 7 years. And so about a month later, so I'm getting this whole strategy to record album with kids in the hospitals and all this stuff. And he goes, hey, I'm going to Mozambique. Do you want to go? And before he even finished, I already bought my ticket. I'm like, yeah.
Love it.
We're going to Mozambique.
I love it.
No question. And, I knew in Mozambique, of course, there's going to be plenty of need. And, the idea was like, oh, cool, maybe people writing songs. And it's like, I was just so excited to.
Was your first time in Africa?
Yeah, first time in Africa. Yeah. So I remember Brock picks me up Saturday at the airport, and he's driving me around, and all these motorcycles are going in and out and crazy. And we go to Heidi's house, and I have no idea what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. And Heidi says, hey, tomorrow we're going to go to this church in Miesi. And she kind of just briefly mentions something about it, like the hurricane and all this stuff. And it honestly was too much for me to compute. I was just kind of like, okay, here we go. This starts the journey.
Right into it.
And then so the next morning, it's fun. I actually have a video we'll probably release. I'm recording her as she's like in the Land Rover and going through. And it's so fun to see.
People have no idea that side of Heidi.
It's amazing. And it's the best side.
Yeah.
It's literally incredible.
It's a side, man. It's she knows how to drive that stick shift.
Oh yeah.
And man, I've been in the back seat of those Land Rovers for hours.
Oh yeah.
And she just goes for it.
Oh yeah. It's incredible.
She's incredible.
Well, we have a whole conversation that we'll probably release, so everyone will see that of her driving through and going. And so she's explaining to me, we're driving in this church, and she's like, the whole village was wiped out by the cyclone, and the villagers, they rebuilt inside their destroyed church with, sticks and tarps. And I'm like holding the camera, and I'm just kind of going like, this sounds crazy, And so we pull in, and I see this church. And it's one of those things where you're just like, this moment's like going to change me, you hear about it. Right. And I walk up and Heidi goes, Isaac, a church isn't a building, a church is the people. And again, that's something you hear all the time, right? You can see it here.
Yeah.
Like this is the most pure representation of what that means, because they didn't have a building.
Yep.
It's destroyed. And so I walk in and I felt this immediate tension. It was like the first tension was to shut down and to understand that, yes, there's something here, but it was too painful to see. It was too confusing. Like, how is this happening? How is the world in a place like this where this is currently happening? Because it's at this point, it was still 8 months after the cyclone hit, right? So these people, how they're singing, they're not waiting for anybody to come save them, right? They're there, they're together, they're singing because that's what they have and that's what's keeping them together. And so, but at the same time, I took a moment, I paused, and I was like, you know what? That's when I saw like the same beauty I saw in the hospital with Shia. As difficult and painful as that was, I saw that same beauty in that church. And I was just like, I'm just going to be a part and be present and experience. And that was the most, I've been to thousands of church conferences, thousands of church meetings, grew up in the prayer room, 12 hours a day, homeschooling. I would love to see if anyone has been to more church services than me. And I don't know if I've ever felt like I've been to a church until I stepped into that destroyed church right there.
How crazy. Just think of what that, I mean, people that are listening, I'm sure that they think you're exaggerating.
No.
But you're not.
No.
And you have to experience it to understand.
If I'm being really honest, I would say I don't ever have to step into a church in America again. And I know that's an extreme statement.
You can say whatever you want, dude.
But I would go to that church every single day and sit with them and sing for 3-4 hours. Yeah. And I love church. I didn't say I'm not going to church. I don't have to. But that church it's like they have nothing, but yet they have everything.
You hear what everybody in the West talks about, and they have a understanding of with words. Yeah. But until you experience it in the flesh, it's so early church, right? Mm-hmm. There's no materialism. There's no format. Mm-hmm. There's no clocks. There's just people and God and brothers and sisters coming together in praise. It really is pure. 2 seconds. I was on the first outreach ever in Miesi.
When was this?
My son is 19, so I want to say 22 years ago, something like that, give or take a year. It was right when Heidi and Roland moved up north to Pemba from Maputo. I brought a team with Global Awakening, and I was planning on moving out there. So it was a little bit of a fact-finding mission, a little bit of a, help Randy with this team. But Miesi is about a half-hour drive out of Pemba. And, as you drive into Miesi, I think it's the church is before the spot, but you have like kind of the town center. Mm-hmm. So that there's a white building on the left that's sits about 100 feet off the main road. And Miesi is like 10 times larger than it was 20 years ago.
Right.
So small village. That white building is like it's like a governmental building. It was empty. Maybe one room that people would go in and out of, and it was locked up. But just straight mud huts, village, and like market right there, because cars drive by and they sell their stuff. And so we set up in front of that white building, and we put the projector up to show the Jesus film on the wall. And we ended up about 30 minutes later running for our lives because they were robbing us blind. They were trying to take everything we had. The change, all that being said, the change in that village, going back there now and seeing the change and what it was, I think it was there. It was the first time I had rocks thrown at me for preaching the gospel. And they were stripping stuff out of our cars as we're running for it. Was like, run. Like, don't, and we booked it, went down the road a little bit and made, counted all the heads, made sure we had everybody, because we really took off in fear of our lives.
Mm-hmm. This is at Miesi.
100%. 100%. This is before any of it was
there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now outside of Pemba, I think it's the second largest church that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Heidi actually talks about it, how actually after the cyclone hit, there's been a revival and people are flooding and actually coming there more.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that.
So even for me, the backdrop of what God's doing at that church.
There's so many.
It was one of the first times I ever ran for my life. Yeah.
One of the first times.
There's more. We don't have to talk about it. Yeah.
Over a coffee. I'd love to hear it. But yeah, so I'm in this church and I just I was like, okay, slow down and experience this. And that was just completely life-changing. And, I have this story, and at the end of the service, they start taking an offering. And I was like, nope, I'm not. I know what's going to happen. I'm not, like, I know my privilege. Like, I'm not here for them to give an offering to me, right? Like, I'm here to, help and to, record voices and spread the word. And Heidi saw me and she goes, Isaac, come here. And so she sits me down, and these people, they're bringing, food. And this one lady, she hands out her hand. And I'm like, I know what's in her hand. I'm like, I can't take this. And Heidi grabs my hand, and she gives me this coin. And that coin feels like 1,000,000 pounds in my hand. And I was just like, my mind, I know the beauty of what they are doing in the sacrifice, and I know that is good, and that's what we are all taught, right? But equally, I was just like, I can't compute what is happening right now. And Heidi grabs my hand, and she puts the coin. I still have the coin, and she goes, Isaac, this is a gift. We're going to work together, and we're going to help, help this community and rebuild and give back what was lost. And I put that in my pocket, and after the service, we drive to her house, and literally it feels like it's like 1,000,000 pounds in my pocket. And I get to her house, and I go upstairs, and I just put it on the table, and I just stare at it for a half hour. And I was like, what can I do to even somewhat justify keeping this gift that this lady gave me, that there's nothing I could do in return for someone living in that type of poverty, destruction, for her to give that offering? I don't know what there is, but in that moment, that's like what I can do is give every ounce of time, resources, ability, gifting I have to tell about their story, to share these songs that I heard that were so beautiful. And so that's when I'm like, okay, does anybody have any songs they're writing? And so we talked to a couple worship leaders, and one of them was Yerke, and he's like, yeah, I have a few songs. I bike to Iris, and God gives me songs, and I teach the choir. And so me and Brock, we set up in this sweaty room. I'm just recording demos. I've never heard these songs. I don't know if they're going to be cute songs, bad songs. I'm just like, who sings here, right? And we have 1 hour a night because they're in school, and so it's literally it's demo tracks. I did a quick shaker and a pad so they can hear the tone and the rhythm, and then I have Yerk singing this way, and then the choir, and we just do 2 passes just so I could hear. And every song, I'm like, these songs are, you don't expect something that good. If anything, I was expecting them to be cute and bad, to be quite honest.
Right.
Or not bad, but just I don't know, cute and maybe just cute, still powerful and still worship to God, so it's still beautiful. Yeah. But maybe just needing help developing and working, and me and Brock, right? And so, but after the 3rd day, me and Brock look at each other, it's Wednesday, and we're just kind of like, these songs are amazing. It was one of those things is this really happening? It was one of those moments I think these are not just good, but really good. Yeah. And then that's when I had the thought, I was like, talking about the machine we were talking about earlier, is unfortunately, as amazing as media is and songs, they'll only go so far. And if you have video representation, they're going to go further. So I told Brock, I'm like, either we got to take these kids to the beach and film a dumb TikTok video, or we can do something that's really meaningful. And I'm like, what if we go back to that church in Miesi and record these 5 songs in that element, the open air, the tarps, the electricity that's zapping through the crowd, and to record those voices and the choir and the people, and then obviously the video representation of that. And I'm talking to him, and Brock looks at me and he goes, Isaac, I would probably tell everyone else no. But he's like, I think you're the only guy that can pull this off. And he's like, we still got to talk to Heidi. There's still 20 things that has to happen, but he's like, I think we can do it. So I take that idea to Heidi, and even she's like, this is crazy. But I'm not for sure, but let me make some calls because it's still dangerous. We only had a few hours to be in that church because when it gets dark, it gets dangerous. I didn't even know that. And so I don't really know what I'm getting myself into. I'm just like, these songs are beautiful and I want to record them in the church.
The danger is the insurgents.
Right.
Right. And so just to get, people, it's dangerous because the roof might fall. I mean, that too. But it's dangerous because for the last 7 years, there's been a steady stream of insurgents coming in, and they are all throughout that area.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so anyways, so again, it sounds like a fun idea, right? But literally, this is more of an impossibility because, again, so outside of the insurgents danger, this is literally a disaster zone. Like, this should be tape everywhere. There's nails sticking out like this big everywhere. And I don't even know if it's possible. I'm like, I looked at their sound system Sunday and it was like open wires. I'm like, it's crazy. I'm like, but okay, if
it works.
It works, barely.
But it works.
It works. I think
we do so little with so much.
Oh, exactly.
They do so much with so little.
Oh, I know.
It's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah. And we'll talk about it because I want to raise money to get them a new sound system. But I'm like, okay, if I just have an hour where it's empty, I'm sure I can figure out something I brought my travel recording gear, and I can figure something out to make it work, right? And so again, if I have an hour where the room's clear and we got to set up video and audio, and I tell Heidi, hey, tell the kids I want to give out candy and let's do a celebration. And so she's like, hey, we'll bring food and candy. I don't know if there'll be 50 people there or a lot of people. This is kind of weird to do on a Friday. And so we're pulling up, we get there, and I'm hoping that it's clear, but it's jam-packed. There's like 1,000 people there. And they're like, we've been here since 8 a.m. celebrating and worshiping. And on one hand, I'm like, oh, this is fun. But then I'm like, wait, I have to set up all this audio. I have to set up the equipment in the midst of complete beautiful chaos. But it's just like, wait, no, can you guys leave? And no, they're not going to leave. They're just they're there worshiping and doing all this stuff. So
why would they leave?
Exactly. Well, because I'm trying to set up and do a recording.
This is what you are talking about is the process of every visitor first time.
Yes.
Right? Because why wouldn't they come at a specific time? No, they come because you said you'd be there.
Exactly.
And waiting all day, nobody's looking at their watch.
Right. Yeah.
They're just, same thing. Today it'll happen.
Yeah. So and regardless if they're in that building or if they're somewhere else, it's all a continuation, right? Like the story is a song. So anyways, so I'm stepping over people and I'm trying to, I'm plugging in. I'm literally getting, there's video, electrocuted. As I'm plugging in, I'm literally getting electrocuted by the sound system as I'm trying to plug in my recording gear.
Every microphone you get shocked.
Yeah, I know that very clearly. I will show a video of it. So I'm doing that. And they're yelling in the microphone, and I'm trying to grab this, and I have Brock and Christy. I'm like, hey, Christy, you're over here. You're this camera. Brock, you're in the middle. I'm here. So we're trying to set everything up. It takes 20 minutes. I don't even know if it's going to work, but I barely get it working, just enough to so they can hear the shaker. And then Brock's stepping over. We're using a rope to put microphones in different areas. I even got a DJI a wireless microphone that I attached on their microphone in case it stopped working, which I actually did have to use.
You can see it in the video.
Yeah. No, it's hysterical.
It's great.
It's everything was wrong about the setup, but again, they have the one thing that's right. So
is it wrong? Is it wrong?
That wasn't, no.
Yeah.
I would much rather record in all that chaos. I was like, this is crazy. I hope this works. But I would still rather be in this situation any day than $1 million studio anywhere. Now, my hope is we can blend it a little bit and we can raise money and we can give them a church and a sound system that isn't going to electrocute them and all that stuff. I want to get there. And that was the hope and the dream of this, of recording, to hopefully to show their strengths, show the beauty of these songs, to raise awareness, to hopefully to come together to restore what was lost. But anyways, before we get there, so we start recording. And I mean, it's just craziness. But as soon as we press record, there's just this instant peace that comes over. Not that there wasn't peace before, but it was oh yeah, really quickly. So then we go up and set the cameras, and then I'm looking for Yerk. Yerk's the main singer, and we're supposed to have this powwow so he knows what's happening. I'm I can't find Yerk. Where's Yerk? And then someone's oh, he's dancing with the kids. And so Yerk's dancing with the children 5 minutes before we were supposed to record. I'm Yerk, we're supposed to talk about, we're doing this song, this, I'm trying to organize everything, and Yerk's just I'm dancing with the kids. It's I love it. It's so beautiful. It's just the pureness of his heart is just incredible. And so, but anyway, so we press record, and it's just like this instant peace that goes over the whole tent. Not that there wasn't peace, there was this joy and celebration, but then there was just this cure. Like the choir started to sing, and it was just like you just felt the presence just instantly. And I'm stepping over people, and I'm recording on this side, and I'm stepping back, and there's electricity zipping through, which I actually left in some of the recording. Like I had to edit some out because sometimes tarps would hit mic so hard it would overpower it. But I left as much in as I could, right? Like this wasn't about getting a pristine, clear recording. This was about the rawness, the air, all of that stuff. And it's crazy in Pro Tools when I literally solo, like the crowd, like you hear it and you feel it. And I've done a lot of recordings. Like it's really incredible. And so we record those 5 songs, and we're tearing down quickly because the light's coming down, and we're trying to get back in, and we get back to Heidi's house, and I start, essentially the next month is me just going through the footage and editing it. And again, I'm remembering that coin that was given to me, and I'm just like, every ounce of energy I can do to accurately convey what happened in that church in the means of media. If I can get 1% of what actually it felt like, then it's going to be successful. And so I was 20 hours a day just in coffee shops editing and this and that and all this stuff, and in the midst of my Shia. So we talked about him. I want to make sure. So the beautiful news, actually, the week I got back from Mozambique, he rang the bell, cancer free.
Come on,
like it just
dude, that
crazy.
feeling is incredible.
Yeah, it was wild. So I'm coming back from Mozambique, and that was definitely a beautiful connection to the story. What started in the hospital with this most painful season and figuring out everything, to the dream of the nonprofit, to going to Africa, then coming back to him ringing the bell. And it was just, it was beautiful, but it was still challenging. Even though he rang the bell, your body is adjusting to being off chemotherapy. He's still throwing up 7 times a day. I'm hardly sleeping at all, and he's doing that, and I'm opening up the videos, and I'm editing, and I'm mixing, and it's not easy, right? Life is still challenging, and I just know all I can do is give my gifts to match this gift that was given me. And my hope and dream is, as we release these songs, as we that people understand that this isn't just an album, but actually pause and go, the gift that they're giving us is way bigger than anything that we could give them.
I want to pause. Mm-hmm. Okay. Can we put up the full Nkele video, James? Yeah. We're going to watch the video now. And I want people to get a glimpse. I think you gave a beautiful introduction to the video. And so we're going to hit pause.
Yeah.
I want you to watch the whole thing. Don't just skip through it. Even if you've seen it before, I want you to watch the whole thing as we continue on and chat about what's coming next.
Yesu hukuma wirimu hiye viha hipanka pinatamu oyariwe winchichini oyariwe upetelehemu Yesu hokuma wirimu hiya hipanga pinatamu oyariwe winchichini oyariwe upetelehemu murima kauna unlelani pia Murima kauna unlelani Yesu Murima kauna unlelani pia Murima kauna unlelani Yesu okuma wirimu hiyavya hipanka pinatambu oyariwe winchichini oyariwe upetelemu murimaka una ulelani una ulelani murimaka Yesu murimaka Makauna unlelani Yesu.
So when the first time you saw the video, what was as maybe...
Dude, can I be honest? I want to be honest.
Okay.
Can I be really honest?
Yes.
We have a lot of people that like to help and serve Iris, and I love that. It's a joy. And there's a lot of like projects. We have 70 something locations around the globe. Yes, there's so much focus on Mozambique, but we get stuff from all of our locations and all the things. And I've had a lot of projects. They're like, oh, we did this thing, or this is a thing. And then I get it. I'm just like,
do you have 10 hours a day to look at every new project that comes to your table? No.
Or it's like awful,
right,
or painful.
Right.
So when I, like, I'm going to be really honest. When I went in, I was like, this is just another thing that I have to put up with, and then it will disappear. And I remember sitting and watching it. What the team captured was something that is hard to put in words, but it was the thing that drew me to go and live in Mozambique. You captured a moment of worship and high praise where you can almost smell it, right? You can smell the smoke in the air. And that is something that I think we talk about as missionaries, but we don't always have the skill set. I think you captured a portion of why we go and lay our lives down. I fell in love with it. I played it over and over again to the point now where my 12-year-old son now is singing in Makua.
I know.
All the time in my house.
So many people are saying they're like, I want to be able to sing along. And, and same thing for me, like the language is gorgeous. Brock talks about this a lot, like just like the vowels of like, I mean, it literally is the most beautiful language, especially in songwriting terms. Second off from there, I guess somebody heard these songs and donated a lot of money to reprint the Solar Bibles. And the Solar Bibles that haven't been updated in like 10 years, these 5 songs are going on the next batch of the Solar Bibles. So the songs that were recorded in this destroyed church of Miesi are literally going to go all over the nation of Mozambique, let alone but whoever hears them in the States and the West.
Solar Bibles are a device about this size. It's one of our, I would say it's our greatest evangelistic tool that we use. Charge them in the sun. They play, people use them all over. They get passed around through villages. But one of the greatest strengths of the Solar Bibles is they're in the native tongue. So Makua, Makandi, Mwani, Mwao, Shangaan, whatever it is in Mozambique or the whatever location we put them in around the world. But I think this is one of the first times that we've had worship in the language. It's so rare on there. We're so excited.
It's amazing. And so, I think with these songs, especially with, Nkele and, the languages, so many people are just like, I want to sing along with them. And it's amazing. Even when I was recording it, I didn't know what they were saying. Like the first week, I was just recording it. I'm like, I don't know what they're saying, but I felt it.
Yeah.
Like I almost didn't want to hear it because it was this like, almost like mystic, beautiful thing of like, I don't even know what they're actually saying, but I'm singing it and I feel it in my spirit. And so many people actually said the same thing. But then when you go look at the words, you're just like, oh my gosh, like so it's so meaningful. And, I think with, again, going back to why they're so meaningful, there's so many reasons. Again, these songs are written out of survival. They're written out of like the pain that you experience. When you experience a pain like cancer, it's like if you get cut, you get a small cut, you could put a Band-Aid on it. You get your leg chopped off, Band-Aid's not going to do anything.
Right.
You experience that type of loss, whatever it is, the only thing that comes close to helping or soothing is that equally powerful healing, whatever that is, if that's through art, if that's through music, if that's through medicine. And so that's what these songs are birthed. These people aren't going to sing a casual song in the midst of their persecution. They have to sing something that feels, that is just as strong. No, they're not thinking this. They're not going, I'm going to sing something, this isn't good enough. They're not saying that. But that's just the reality of these songs were birthed in the midst of that type of pain, destruction. And you can see it even in the midst of them having nothing. They are together and they're more connected. I've been to thousands of church services. You've heard it all the time. We're getting generations, the old, the young together, and they'll blend a service here or there. It's like, you look at this, there's babies walking around, nursing babies, there's every age, they're all together, they're huddled around, they're singing, and they're together. I was like, this is absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Like, it's absolutely incredible. And so that is the gift. As people watch these, yes, there's going to be a want and a need to respond and to help that community. But first, it's like pause and go, what do they have that we don't? Because we have so much on paper, but yet sometimes miss that very thing, that connectedness, the presence. Yeah. They have nothing. Their nothing was destroyed by a cyclone, yet they have
everything.
That's the gift they're giving. And so I think my dream and my hope for this project as it comes out, there's 5 songs. They're all a cappella, which I love. It's just the pure form. My dream is we come together and, those with needs and resources, we come together. And this is like a movement, because my dream is, Miesi it's not just a church, it's a whole village, and it's one of, Heidi doesn't even know, thousands of villages in the Iris network. And I'm going, if we can come together and use music and art to tell the stories and show their strengths, the resilience of these communities, and highlight them, show their voices, and release their songs and their stories, then if we can do that and come together and raise money to restore what was lost, well, we can do that with the next village, and we can do that with the next village. And how many kids right now, Miesi is one. Think about all the other villages where there's equally powerful stories, songs being sung out of a very similar situation, maybe different circumstances, but the same pain, the same poverty. And it's like, I want to go there, not out of sympathy, but out of, we need what they have. I want to hear those stories, share those stories, and then come together. And it's like returning to what music and art should always be about, right? Getting away from this machine that is whatever it is. And, again, it's not all bad, but it's pausing, taking a step back and going, how can we take a step back and go, what's the good that we can use from it, but also return to like what music and art should always be about, expressions of our souls. And these people have a lot there. And so I think for me, the dream, here's my crazy dream, is that, we raise money to rebuild the church. And I'd love to go back to that church, hold a celebration service. I want to bring instruments to the kids, and I want to hand them guitars and basses and violins, and I don't want to make them sound like an American worship song. I want to go, what are the native instruments here? Where are these old drums that you guys are playing? And I want to re-record these same 5 songs with added layers of authentic production elements with these kids, and going back and re-recording these songs in the restored church of Miesi, new sound system where I'm not getting electrocuted, under a roof where, it's there's not nails sticking out everywhere. And imagine what that would be like.
Yeah.
I mean, that would just be wild. And if we can do it with Miesi, then we can do the same thing for the next village.
Right.
So that's the dream.
Come on, man. Dude, I love it. What you have just described is, I would say, most people's experience coming to Mozambique. I mean, you, of course, had this project, but you just described, I think, the missionary journey, those who fall in love with missions. And honestly, like, this is what I love the most about this little podcast. And I try to highlight missionaries. People look at missionaries as crazy. Mm-hmm. Right? They look at them as like they're doing the extreme. Honestly, most of them, normal people that tasted something that their heart was longing for. Yeah. And they're like, I have to be a part of this. Mm-hmm. You talked about the coin. I've had grandmothers who have adopted all of their grandkids. Mom and dad are dead, and they kill their last chicken to sit, and everybody sits there and watches you. Those moments where you can't say no, you can't. It is a gift. You have to accept it. And all of the stuff in the back, like, I shouldn't be doing this. I have more. That mm-hmm. guilt. That guilt is wrong. It is wrong. We're receiving a gift. Mm-hmm. We're being given something. You wouldn't have an issue if somebody handed you a $2,000 check if you were at a church in America, but yet we have this issue. It is a blessing for them, and it is a blessing for you. Like, we fight this stuff because it's so unnatural. The Western church, we think that we have the answer, and we don't.
Right.
We don't.
Oh, no.
We don't have the answer. We have a peace, and they have a peace. That's the beauty of the body of Christ globally. Mm-hmm. And we need to have these experiences. And what you and Brock and Christy and all of the Mozambicans that are involved, what you've done is basically extended an open invitation for anyone to come and actually see what brothers and sisters in Christ around the globe, in Mozambique particularly, are doing.
Yeah.
And I think we become a stronger church. We become a better community of like-minded, like-hearted believers when we experience these things. The danger is, if I can go back to maybe where we started, is monetizing, right? This is what happened, I think, with a lot of the early worship, right? The worship, when it started to go big, they saw something, they experienced something that was pure, and then they turned it into a product. And I think the blessing of Mozambique is you have to really want to go there.
Yeah.
You have to really be a little bit crazy to go and do what you've done. So that's why it hasn't been before.
And we're still figuring out, like literally right now I'm talking with Brock, and because the cool thing is, again, the whole machine isn't bad, but it's the pausing, taking a big step back and going, okay, what is maybe not so good, not so helpful, and what are how can we use these things to be helpful? And I can start sending money back to these worship leaders who don't even have an electricity in their house. I'm still working that out because it's really complicated with the government, but we're going to figure it out. And so in the midst of this, we talked about machine, there are good elements. And so now it's finding the beauty of both.
Yeah.
And as there's so many different layers that we can raise money to support these local worship leaders that are there. And it's challenging, but I'm so excited to figure it out. And the first time I can send money to Yerk, and it's just going to be incredible.
Come on. Well, we, as this is out and as people are watching this, there's been another 4 videos released. I would like to, is there another video or that you really like? If you had to pick another one to show people, your second one, Nkele, is incredible.
Yeah.
What would be like the next video that you're really excited about?
I mean, they're all insane. I think we released, there's 2. One is Miesi, which is the one that we released second after Nkele. And then the third one, it's a song called Happy Today. And it's literally them in all joy talking about how happy they are.
You got that one? I don't think I've seen that yet.
Okay, well then that would be the one.
Can we show it?
Yeah.
Can you show it to me?
Yeah.
Really quick? And
this is really,
And we'll just do a clip of it.
Sure. How much do you want to?
I don't know. You just do whatever.
Okay, let's see here.
I trust you, man. As you're searching through this, the videos and the songs are going to be out on all streaming platforms for the most part.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, they'll be everywhere.
Spotify,
Apple Music.
Okay. And I know people don't know how to maybe spell Nkele, or like, is there a name or an artist, or like is there a way they can search it?
Yeah. So the album is Nkele, Nkele. And so just Nkele, and then his name is Yerk Ralph, YURKRALF. But let me just I'll confirm that too, because I'm still learning on typing all these songs in Makua. So here's the happy song. What I keep envisioning is saying something like, trying to tell people this, like, imagine that you're like, wherever you are, like literally, if you're watching this, like take a moment to like literally do this exercise. You can do it with me. Okay. Imagine your whole village of 10 blocks was wiped to the ground. Yeah. Destroyed. And
actually, we're going to put up a photo. James took some incredible photos of entire villages gone. This is what he's talking about.
So imagine this is your village. You wake up and it's completely flattened. Your whole village cleans everything up. You go to the church, and you only miss one Sunday because you clean the church, and then you rebuild inside your church temporarily because there's no help with wood, sticks, and tarps. If your village can come together to actually do that, that's the first step in miracle. What would you imagine that worship would sound like? Do you think it would be sad?
Yeah. I mean, yes. In the West, I think yes.
Right. No, like, I don't know. Like, what would it look like? Well, it's like, we found that community. And I went into that village, and we went into that church, and this is what they sound like.
I'm going to check this out. You're going to watch it on the screen as well, so you guys can see what I'm seeing.
Happy today, happy today, happy today. I'm going back to home. Happy today, happy today. Happy today, I'm going back to happy today. Happy today, happy today, happy today. I'm going back to happy today. Happy today, happy today, happy today.
Have you guys seen this? James, have you seen this?
This is just insane.
I remember when he was just a little kid. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, just, it's pure joy.
Yep.
And they're not waiting for anybody. That's the thing. No one has come.
So good. I love it. With joy. Wow.
So is that what you think would sound like in the West if that happened to us?
I'm going to let those who are watching make their own decisions. I'm going to stay out of that one.
Yes. And so I think, for me, I go, because I've even already had it on different social media posts and people going, oh, you think you're the savior and, you're the problem, all this stuff. And I'm like, actually, it's the opposite. Yeah.
People are so ignorant. They throw that at a lot of missionaries, people that are trying to help. It's garbage. It's easy for someone to sit behind their computer and say something like that. I understand that there's been a lot of harm done when people say that they're doing good, they're trying. But get out, do something. It's easy to sit back and cast aspersions, but nobody knows the cost. Nobody knows the price of what it is to go. Oh. And I'm telling you, when you hold a baby that was alive because there was people there that wanted to serve, I don't care. You could say whatever you want to say. I've seen lives changed. I've seen people that were dead, that were supposed to be dead, that are now alive. Oh. Yeah, I get sick of the criticism, man.
Yeah. So I guess I go from here, how can people, again, this is way more than an album. This is not, oh, hey, we're releasing an album. I mean, I think when you hear and understand the story, it's so much deeper than that. And I hope the first thing is like, yes, obviously there's going to be this need to want to help and to give, but to literally pause and go, how can they respond like this in the midst of their loss? And how and why are we so disconnected? And go just to receive their gift, to receive that. And then of course we can come together and figure out how can we respond? How can we come? I go, it's like they already sound like heaven, but now I want to help, build them a home on earth, right? And so how can we come together and how can we do that? And again, this is hopefully the beginning of a movement. And if we can do it with Miesi, then we can do it to the next village and tell the stories and show their strengths. And so, I'm just very humbled to be a part of it. My job is just to press record and try not to mess it up. And just very thankful for the opportunity to be a part and to serve and to just share these songs that are I think so powerful.
Isaac, sitting down, I didn't know what to expect during this interview. When I was talking to you on the phone, I was like, man, come, I want you to come on. You can hear the passion, but it's just evident that you love the Lord, man, and it's evident that you hear His voice. It's evident that this isn't just the next gig. So thank you. I just want to thank you, man, because a lot of people come and they say they want to do stuff. They say we want to help, but I really, you've captured something beautiful. I think you captured the heart. And if you can just experience what I heard you say, what you said so eloquently, which is there's hope in the midst of suffering. There's joy in the midst of chaos. And it's not impossible. If you can just be encouraged by that, and take it a step further if you can, but learn another culture, another language, learn the beauty and the diversity of the body of Christ, which all of these videos really portray and convey beautifully, man. I would encourage anyone that's watching to step out. And if you want to take it a step further, you can't go to Pemba right now, but you can go and visit a base. Like this actually is taking place all across the globe.
Yeah. And follow along as we, take the story of Miesi and celebrate, and then talk to Iris and go, where's the next village we're going to?
So we are currently rebuilding the church. Jeff, who's sitting off camera, I don't want to call you up, but I know that there is a way to give to the Miesi church. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Through the crisis response. So if you are watching this and you want to help, go to irisglobal.org. And then how can people stay connected with what you're doing in the future? Like how can people connect to you? And I know you have a podcast and you do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so my nonprofit is called The Sound of Us. Again, originally it was just me writing songs for kids at the hospitals.
Yeah.
And then I got invited to Africa, and now it's, I guess, writing songs with people in Africa and also hospitals. And so, The Sound of Us Foundation, Instagram, all the platforms. And, I'm just, I know that the funds that are currently being used to rebuild Miesi, those funds can go to so many other places in needs, right? Like I was talking to Heidi on how much do we need? And it's like, at the end of the day, there's no number that we can even put that's like, we need this. It's like the need is greater. Whatever number we say we need this. And so it's like, I'm anything that's given to my nonprofit, I want to give back to this church and rebuild it, bring a sound system, record a celebration service, and document the journey and document as we go from Miesi to another one. So follow along with my nonprofit.
What sort of sound system do you want? Because there are people watching. They're like, I have a system. I have, but so I want you to get specific. What are you looking for?
That's a great question. I think I'd honestly have to look at the building that we're building, because I know it's very bare bones. It might be open air. So I can't answer that right now because we're rebuilding the building.
Yeah.
And depending on how open air it is and all that stuff, but we need a sound system.
Yeah.
Right. We need a soundboard, but all that is dependent on the type of building that we're going to rebuild.
Yeah. So historically, we take sound system out, set it up. Buildings are multi-use. Usually we put everything in a room, a locked room on the side, opens up. So it's not like church where you set it up and install everything. Sometimes, I know we have that in Pemba. So I would say 90% of the time, unless something special takes place, it's something that's easily movable, but also at the same time, we'll be able to reach a few thousand people.
Right.
So maybe you're listening to this, you have an idea. I will say this: it costs more to send out junk
Right.
than it does. Like you can actually buy something in country.
Exactly.
So what I'm not saying is don't reach out to Isaac and send him, your 40-year-old speakers. But if you are like a professional and you have excellent stuff, Isaac, how can they reach out if there's something, even if they want to donate something you can sell and take the money and do like whatever it is. Like I just want to open up the door.
Yeah.
How can they?
So the soundofusfoundation.com. That's the website. Also, just all the socials, Instagram, and there's all links to connect with me and to start that conversation.
Yeah.
So,
can I ask just one last question?
Sure.
How's your mom? I just love her. She was the soundtrack of so many of my encounters with the Lord.
Yeah. No, I'll say, I mean, she's doing good. This season has broke us all open in a good way. Shia with getting cancer, and so no matter how strong someone can be, and my mom is very strong, and you see people on stage and they're a worship leader, and my mom she's incredible. There is a depth, and it's been a very good but honest, deeply honest season of asking big questions and going deep. And so it's been beautiful. It's been painful. And I think we're still on that healing journey. And I'm really excited for the music that she's going to put out coming out of this season with me as well. I mean, she's the MVP of the hospital. I mean, absolutely. Dude. I mean, her standing over Shia praying was one of the most profound, meaningful things I think I'll always remember are those moments. Not her on stage, not singing, but her with Shia in the hospital. And so she's doing good, but the reality is sometimes good in life are difficult seasons, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And so I think we're coming on the post side of that season, and so very excited to see those seeds that are growing, to see where they come.
I don't want to reminisce too much, but like I said, your mother was the soundtrack to a lot of her gifting. Her love of Jesus was a soundtrack to a lot of incredible moments I had with the Lord. There's a couple. Do you know? I know you know Steve Swanson.
Oh, Steve.
So Jeff.
Oh, Steve is one of my favorite people.
Jeff sitting off the camera. Steve, like he is legitimately one of our favorite people.
Oh yeah.
As your mom, dude, will you? As you're on your journey, you gotta do me a favor. If a moment ever comes up where you want to share some of those generals of the word that never sold out, your mom's one of she never sold out. She never made it about what I think a lot of it's turned into. Steve Swanson, these guys were pioneers. If I want you to reach out to me if you've ever done it. If you ever plan on doing anything with those flipping generals
my gosh.
that are the soundtrack to so many people's encounter and passion with the Lord. Steve is one of my favorite humans. I would jump on board.
My favorite memory, because I remember I came from playing in churches that were free, but it's definitely like you're a little more controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm playing guitar, I don't want to be too much, move around too much. I mean, not that someone said that, but you're more controlled. And I remember the first time I was playing with Steve, it was this big event, and he's like, Isaac, when I look at you and I go like this, he's like, that means you start like shredding in the guitar. It's just like, he's just like dancing and joyful. And I was like, what? And it was so much fun. If I'm playing with Steve, I just know it's going to be fun.
Dude, he's just like your mom, one of the greats that so many of our generation, I know you're younger than me, but they have no idea. And they have no idea. So, listen, if you know Steve, if you know Julie, leave a comment below, because I just want to there's something about those generals that mark so many of our lives, and they never get the recognition.
Mm-hmm.
But they're right there in the midst of it. I could list off 5 names, but yeah, dude, you're incredible. The fact that you've gone through everything you've gone through, you've come out shining, you've come out passionate for the Lord, and your hunger is tangible, and I love it, man. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for serving Iris. Thank you for running with us in this project, and I look forward to what comes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, guys, I know that if this didn't bless you, you're dead in your heart. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully not. No, if this didn't bless you, I don't know what you were listening to. Watch the videos. Do us a favor. Share the videos. Send them to your friends. Send them to anybody you know. Let's let people listen to this incredible gift of God. We'll share it. And let's keep praying for Mozambique. Keep praying for the persecution. Right before I filmed this, I was in D.C. meeting with a group that was really highlighting the persecution globally of Christians. It's taking place in Mozambique. Yes, cyclones come and go. The cyclone took down the church, but cyclones will continue to come and go. The persecution has just been a steady thing for the last 7 years. And please be praying for Mozambique. Please be lifting up our brothers and sisters in Christ. And they are. We will catch you guys on the next episode of the Iris Global Green Room. Isaac, thank you so much, brother.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Bless you guys. 10 out of 10, brother.